Dave Ogbole, who is a resident of Benue State. Mr. Ogbole, it's good to have you on the program this morning.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
All right, thank you. Well, the president openly called out the Inspector General of Police yesterday after giving him a marching order to go after these attackers. But he also raised concerns on the issue of no arrests being made. We also had a guest on this show, I think 2 days ago, who mentioned that residents don't even trust security agents in the state, to provide security for them. So have they won the trust of these security agents, even with the president's, instructions?
First of all, I'd like to commend the president for his visit to Benue. That is a sign that he is responsive for him to cut other state engagements off and then hurry to Benue yesterday. It's a sign of his responsiveness to the situation in Benue. It is, however, sad that an ugly cycle is repeating itself. The first time President Muhammad Buhari was visiting Benue after his election in 2015 was in the middle of crisis like this. And it's so sad that the president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is visiting Benue also in the middle of a crisis like this. We wish that he was coming in for project commissioning and other partnership for development in Benue State, but whatever has happened, has happened. In my opinion, the president's speech yesterday comprises of 5 elements. Number 1, a long lecture on tolerance and cohabitation, and then the need for dialogue between the governor, government officials, and the headers on ground there, and then also the formation of a committee that should comprise of traditional institutions, very notable past governors, and also the governor of Nasarawa State and so on, and then the spotlight on ranching, and then finally the marching orders to the security agencies to fish out the killers. In my opinion, there was a more focus on the political talks rather than the hammer of justice coming down on the perpetrators of these heinous crimes. I can just imagine if the American president came to a scene where 200 people or 200 Americans were massacred in cold blood, unprovoked, unjustifiable attacks. I know the American president is going to be very heavy on justice while he offers hope and reassurance to the victims of that community. But in our case now, the matter of justice was just an addendum or after a long political lecture. So that has not offered hope. That has not offered encouragement to the people. And then come to think of it, yesterday was the second time Kayode Egbetokun will be in Benue State within 1 week. Last week he was there and he was supposed to be, rejigging the security apparatus to see that this violence is curtailed or mitigated. But it was after his departure that the carnage of Yelewata, where over 200 people were massacred in cold blood, happened. The chief of army staff was also in Makurdi. The national security advisor was also in Makurdi. So all of these bigwigs and heavyweights present in Makurdi, yet whatever happened on the night of 13th to the morning of 14th in Yelewata still happened, is a sign actually of ineptitude on the part of the security forces. President Tinubu did not need to give marching orders or ask, why has nobody been arrested? That question is not a question of marching orders. It's an indictment on the ineptitude and lack of efficiency of our security agencies. You don't rationalize acts of terror. Any terror you rationalize, you fertilize. Okay. So it is good at least that he has spoken on the part of justice, but we needed a weightier and stronger statement, condemning the violence, and it's something more passionate that will drive the security agencies to actually be able to do their job.
All right.
And I can understand it.
Yeah, Mr. Ogbole.
Hello?
Yeah. Let me just give you. Let me just have a follow-up question for you. The mood in Benue State, especially in Yelwata community, would like to know the mood in there. And you watching from the flank, what is it like? What kind of actions would you advise the various committees, whether the committee of ex-governors, the committee of prominent citizens, the one that will involve the governor of Nasarawa State? What actions, immediate actions, will you expect that they take so that we don't have another ugly incident that may necessitate this kind of meeting that was held yesterday? What immediate action will you advise the committees to begin to take?
Actually, it is a single committee. It's not several committees. It's a single committee involving these actors that you have mentioned. That is what the president recommended. And in Nigeria, we are not new to matters of committees. Committees are usually the normal response to critical situations like this. I am not expecting committees to be formed now. I'm expecting a stronger marching order for our security agencies to comb the vicinities around Benue State, from Agatu to Gwe West, all through to Guma, Logo, Ukum, all of these flashpoints. Let the security agencies mobilize into action quickly, because these herders, these terrorists, these marauders, these criminals are still hiding in those places, and their locations are known. So the immediate response of the forces of the law is what we expect now, not even committees. The moment you mention committees in Nigerian government parlance, people lose confidence as far as the course of action to come is concerned. But if the committee will eventually gather, the first thing I will advise as a recommendation is to set the narratives for this killing straight. There is confused narrative now going on. Number one, it is called skirmishes, communal clashes, and effect or impact of international criminals and so on. No. Benue citizens are farmers by nature. And anytime you have hoofs on ground entering farms, there is bound to be crisis between farmers and herders. And the moment that happens is always followed by allegations of cattle rustling. And after the cattle rustling allegations, the militia moves in to kill and then to sack communities. And then the herders move into these communities, eating from the barns and the farms of Benue farmers and living within their houses. There are Benue communities that have been occupied since 2016. The people have not been able to go back to their ancestral homesteads. That's the reason for the multiple IDP camps hosting over 1 million people in Benue State. The first response should be setting the narratives clear so that the federal government can know the adequate interventions to deploy in terms of military and also in terms of both relief and emergency succor for those who have survived. And then number 3 recommendation, there is currently a North Central Development Commission. I advise strongly that the committee will work hand in hand with the North Central Development Commission officials to articulate or do a proper needs assessment for the damages that have been done across Benue State so that there can be post-crisis rehabilitation for all of the victims. These are the things I will recommend for the committee to focus on very quickly.
All right. We'll still come back to you, Mr. Ogbole, but that will be right